education, and especially not a little bit looking at traditional versus non-traditional education in many, many ways. Florence, thanks for stopping by. As you know, I'm a former teacher myself. Ran an after school program. Education has been a part of my life. And then with now my clients, I continue with education. But really, the one size fits all education model just doesn't work anymore. And especially what we have as to help our children and our students, we're missing out an opportunity to educate them the best possible. Don't you agree?
I firmly agree with you.
It's something that it's just like you can't believe in so many ways. So let's just jump into this specifically. Let's talk about, every child's brilliance is unique, and we're kind of going into that. Can you dive deeper into that?
Yes. After having worked for over 25 years in mostly special education departments of schools as a speech therapist, a speech language pathologist, I have realized that the children who are in those special classes are brilliant in certain areas. They're just not brilliant in the what we determine as academic areas of school. So we have some wonderful artists, and we have some children that are just great in drama. When it comes to movement, moving their body and dance, you see those children excel. But if we judge children just on reading and math and those academic subjects, you'll never find out where they are brilliant. And so I believe every child has their own genius. And when we take the time to discover what their genius is and also alert them to what their genius is, because often they're just going by what we're telling them they cannot do, we will see a difference in how those children behave and ultimately in how they also perform in school.
Now, how do we break free from standardized models?
That's kind of difficult because the standardized model is the easy way to go. So the way you break through is by looking at children as individuals and not as a one size fits all child that has to fit into this mold of what we call standardized education. And that will require the teacher and the parent to work together as partners. Because what the teacher sees in school is often not what the parent sees at home, and vice versa. So when there's a partnership between the parent and the teacher, you can talk about where you see the child excelling. And so instead of just harping on what a child cannot do, you're sharing what a child can do. And then you teach from there. You look at what a child's strengths is and you formulate their learning around that. So for example, if a child is a great artist, and you want to teach a concept, you could explain the concept to the child and then say, okay, why don't you go ahead and draw what you understand for me? And then when they draw it, you can ask them to explain their drawing. So the doing and the thinking is all wrapped up in one. And now the child becomes engaged because they're using a skill they know that they excel in and they enjoy doing. So now they have a joy for learning. They remember the concept because they documented it in the way their brain works. And everyone has an easier time around when it comes to homework because the child realizes, oh, I can use what I can do well to do this project. The homework was stop at home, and in school, the child is no more oppositional to the teacher. And it's a win-win-win situation for everyone.
All right. Why is it important to empower children?
Well, why is it important to empower an adult? It's the same reason. If you are a businessman or a manager on a job and you have adults working for you and you keep saying things that disempowers your employees, what is going to happen? They take a step back, they stop taking interest in their work, they do just the minimum to get by and get paid. And then you don't see that person's genius because they may have had ideas, problem solving skills. All these things just go to waste. Same thing with a child. If you do not empower the child, then you don't get to see the areas that the child really excels in. They pull back, they start thinking, their self-concept goes down, their self-confidence also decreases. They start pulling back from engaging. If you don't have the engagement, you don't have the full child, and the brain is not fully into what you're teaching. So you lose the child's interest. They don't take any type of ownership in their own learning, and they don't want to participate in whatever's happening in the school or at home. So when you empower a child, you are actually giving them the green light to take control of their own learning and to partner with you.
When we talk about personalizing the experience, I started right in the beginning of the show, Florence, but because of my days of being a teacher, owning a tutoring company, and looking at specific things, that individualized instruction is the best way for any type of learning. It doesn't matter if it's adult learning. We really need to become more and more one-on-one and start, and because we need to personalize the experience. Everyone's learning skills are different. We all learn differently. We all have that special genius. So you see how important it is for the personal experience, right?
Yeah, I do. I do. And if I go from my own experience, when my daughter was in the second grade, I found out that she was failing. They hadn't told me all year that she was having significant problems. I knew she was having difficulties at home because I could see when we were doing the homework, what the teacher said would last 20 minutes was taking an hour and a half. But then when I got the call at the end of the school year telling me, oh, we can't put her up to the third grade, she can't read, that was a shock for me. So I went on a journey. I asked them for time. I said, let me work with her over the summer, because as a speech therapist, I know how to do research. That was my forte. And I figured out a way, came up with a system, worked with her so that when they tested her in September, they were able to put her on. But I realizing that they were not equipped to work with her difficulty, because I found out she had dyslexia, then I had to do a bulk of the work at home. And so I made it my duty as I worked with her to look at the areas that she excelled in. I looked at the areas that she did well in. She's an excellent problem solver. She was an excellent conversationalist. She was intuitive. And I took note of those things. And as I am teaching her, I would say things to her, you know, you're the kind of child who just does so well at problem solving. Wow, you're such a great leader. And she internalized those things. So what happens down the road, by the time she got to high school, she told me, you know, Mom, once I figured out how I learn, everything else looked different. And my role in supporting her decreased and she took over. When we personalize children's learning, we are working to their strengths and not their weaknesses. And we are showing them what they do well. And so what happens is they now take ownership of their learning. They realize, I'm not dumb. I'm not stupid. I can do things well. And I make sure to also tell the children I work with, you know, everyone has something that they have trouble learning. So then they begin to see themselves in line with other people and not different from. Personalized learning is the way to go for all children, not only the ones who have difficulty reading or learning or in managing their behavior because of focus and attention. It works. It has been proven to work. There's research out there that shows that it works. And when we do, we give children the handle on their own education. They can take responsibility for their own learning, and then we become the supporter, the helper.
All right, so let's I think it's now time to let people know specifically who are you calling now that you can help? Who are you looking to talk to? And you're giving an offer today as well for my listeners and viewers.
Okay, so if you are the parent of a child who has difficulty reading or learning, because if your child has difficulty reading, as they grow and they go up in classes, they're going to eventually have difficulty learning. So if your child is having difficulty in school with reading or learning, then what I do is show you, whether you're a parent, an educator, a caregiver of that child, I show you what you can do at home to make learning faster, easier, and stress-free. So they can have a better school experience and they can succeed, not just in school, but also in life. And to do that, I'm welcoming people. I'm giving an opportunity to those people who are proactive and committed to taking time to work with their children. It could be as little as 15 minutes a day. But what I want to offer today is an opportunity to speak with me. So they can speak with me for 30 minutes. I am going to go over what they have as a vision for their child, help them to craft and hone that vision, and then also show them what are the next steps to personalize that child's journey so they can launch them into the stratosphere of success.
All right. Well, we appreciate it, Florence. It was great, great information. The best place to go right now to schedule a call is where?
So to schedule a call, they can go to chat with Flo. Should I put it in the
Yeah, I
chat for
mean,
you?
you just can let us know, and then you can give it to me in an email, and we'll add that component to there. So, best place people can go is your website. Can they schedule a call for you by going to your website?
No, my website really is a blog, so it has a lot of information on all of the areas that children could have difficulty with. It's a great resource to learn what to do or what to use at home, how to take what they're doing and make it simpler and easier for the children. So that's a great resource. To chat with me, they can go to it's a bit.ly. I'm going to give you the short one.
Okay, so
Bit.ly.
we'll put that we're gonna put that in the description. Just go ahead and email me that, Florence, and we'll put that in the description. But book a call, Florence. Reach out to me as well. Appreciate it, Florence. Great information. Thanks for coming on.